This is the case of Sadie Yvonne Murphy, a mother of 5, caught in a spiral of bad decisions, fraud charges, and jail time across 2 different states. What began as a retail theft at Walmart quickly turned into a multi-state legal mess, involving forged checks and 86 days behind bars. But here's the twist. While serving her time in Ohio, her family fell apart. Her husband asked for a divorce, and now she's standing in front of the judge once again, hoping for mercy. Will the court believe she's changed, or is this just another act in a long line of deception? Let's find out.
MTRPs, what are we going to do? They have an agreement on this to resolve it without... Wait, I heard a thought. When I get a thought, it rings in my head.
We had an agreement, Your Honor.
Say that again?
We had an agreement.
Wait, 2 hads.
There was previously an agreement. However, Miss Murphy has continued to have incidents in the jail, violent ones. So we have pulled that offer.
What's the deal on that? We have Dr. Rapon's report. She ought to be okay.
Yeah, we had safety on MPRP and 10 years deferred, but it's come to light that apparently she's been having some issues in the jail. I didn't know.
It's on my watch. What is it? What issues are we talking about?
I just found out today. I didn't know about that.
Your Honor, based on the incident reports that we're able to see through Odyssey,
Yeah.
I've printed some. They're very difficult to transfer into other than snipping and clipping. But we have reports, a stack of them dating back to where
So when?
her first incarceration in last July of 2024, since she's been in custody.
Well, I want to know what happened since September 18th of 24. That's when Dr. Rapon evaluated the defendant, and we
I printed one from July 21st of 24, which was an information report. In
from when? What's that?
July 21st of 24, we go to December 21st of 24, December 27th of 24, as recent as March 9th of 2025, March 2nd.
Here's what's happening legally. Ohio gave Sodi a second chance by dropping a felony to a misdemeanor. That's a big deal. But the Michigan judge isn't just looking at paperwork, he's looking at behavior. The real question here, was Sodi truly honest about what happened? Judges often reduce punishment if defendants show accountability, but when they sense manipulation, mercy fades fast. And notice how he brings up her lack of candor. That's a red flag in any courtroom. What do you think? Is she being honest here, or just trying to play the system?
2025 and February, I believe this was February the 20th of 2025.
Okay.
Incidents that include her attempting to take her own life, as recent as I believe yesterday. She had asked to speak to a mental health provider because she was going to harm someone, and based on the report that she was twisting ropes around her hands, had a rope in between her thighs, fights. It's concerning because of the aggressiveness and the violent tendencies, and we've been in custody for
237 days.
237 days, Your Honor, and Miss Murphy is exhibiting continued aggression and violence and lack of respect for authority. And
Okay.
I do understand that Ms. Murphy has a need for substance abuse treatment. That was the reason for the initial request for safety, but the behavior she exhibits in custody right now at a safety unit would be totally unacceptable. It's unacceptable in our facility.
Of course.
And the danger that we're putting other
All right. Okay.
clients in.
Well, I looked at Dr. Rapon's report, which I trust, and he determines that she is competent. So the choices people make are the choices they have to live by. And if you make bad choices, then you're going to be punished. If you make good choices, you're rewarded. It's the way it works. It's that simple. And that works in this court as well as in the free world. And we can't have assaultive behavior anywhere, much less in the jail where we got a lot of people that the authorities have to maintain control over. The important thing that you must remember is that you're looking at a third-degree felony, and it's on my watch, and it's my decision on a motion to revoke probation. At the end of the day, it's going to be mine. And then you got this new case of
This is where emotion takes over the courtroom. Sadie's story tugs at the heart. A mother separated from her children, a marriage collapsing, and the weight of addiction hanging over her. But listen carefully. When the judge asks if she regrets stealing, she says no. That's not something you expect to hear. It's a shocking moment that flips the tone of the entire hearing. She claims she only regrets hurting her family, not the crime itself. Viewers, what do you think? Is this genuine accountability or just selective guilt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know your take on this one.
another third-degree felony, and both of these are assaults. And this new case was filed. Just August 13th and of 24. So I had placed you on probation. 2 months later, you're assaulting another public servant. And obviously that is not something we're going to tolerate. Shame on you the first time. Shame on me the second time if I don't do the right thing on my watch. We'll just have a motion to revoke probation hearing. We'll set this first in just a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be the allegations. Well, we've got 6 of them, right? No, 2. Yeah, 6. And they are administrative. And then 1 is the new case here. And the court will be the arbiter on this one. And I need this back in the file, Dr. Grapon's report. All right, y'all be ready.
Thank you,
and be prepared. So I intend to resolve this in 2 weeks in one direction or another. Okay. Thanks. Yes. All right. Next is Marvin. What's this?
We reached a deal in lieu of, we have a new deal now.
A what?
We got a new deal.
You said a new deal.
New deal.
That's 2 news.
Two new deals.
That's too much news.
That's too much, huh? Yeah, we were able to work it out this morning.
A few minutes ago, there were no deal based upon her conduct. Now what?
What happened was the old deal.
That statement from the judge is important. He's pointing out something bigger than just theft. He's connecting her crimes to trauma and addiction, something many courts now recognize under rehabilitative justice. Instead of punishment, the focus shifts toward healing the root cause. But since that specific recovery program doesn't exist anymore, the judge's hands are tied. This shows how limited the justice system can be when rehabilitation resources disappear. Even judges who want to help have no options left. It's a subtle but powerful commentary on how broken support systems can lead people back into crime.
Was deferred in safety. Now the new deal that we reached is 5 years TDCJ, which is going to be pen time. That's the new deal.
On what? Both cases?
In both cases to run concurrent. And that way we'll dispose of both cases today. And like I understand, the state is no longer going to do the probation deal. So we reached an agreement for the pen time deal.
Is that what you want?
Yes, sir.
And that'll finalize it.
Oh, Let's do this in numerical sequence, okay? The first one is cause number 24 CR 1187, the motion to revoke probation, a first amended motion to revoke probation. And this is the state of Texas versus Sadie Yvonne Murphy. That is you. You have to speak out so she can
Yes.
hear. Okay. And Mr. Adams is representing you and the state's attorney is here. There's a first amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
And raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during these hearings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand, Ms. Murphy. In summary, this first amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation states that on June 10th, 2024, in this court, that you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for the third-degree felony of assault of a public servant. Do you understand what you're charged with here?
Yes.
Allegation 6
Yes, Your Honor.
alleges what's in this new indictment, 24 CR 1984, and we will use this as the basis on this motion to revoke probation in this case. Number 6 states that you violated your deferred or probation order by committing the offense of assault of a public servant on or about August 13th, 2024 in Jefferson County, Texas. Do you understand fully what you're charged with in this allegation?
Yes, sir.
Is this allegation true or untrue?
True.
Are you pleading true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and after discussions with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
You understand that a knowing and voluntary plea of true to one or more violations of probation, that would be enough to grant the motion to revoke probation. Your probation can be revoked, and you could be sentenced to no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison since you're on probation for a third-degree felony. Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true nonetheless?
Yes, sir.
I find you were pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. There is an agreement where your probation would be revoked. You would be found guilty, sentenced to 5 years in prison to run concurrently with a plea of guilty and a 5-year prison sentence to be assessed in the new case 24 CR 1984. Is all of that true?
Yes, sir.
These sentences would run concurrently, correct? If I follow this, you have no right of appeal. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign that document? Understand it? Discuss it with your attorney? Is everything true and correct?
Yes.
States Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence?
No objections.
Without objection admitted?
Mhm.
In summary, this states that if I follow this agreement, you will have no right of appeal on this motion to revoke probation disposition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it is made a part of the record. I'm going to follow this agreement and find there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion, first admitted motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. Allegation 6 is proven true as the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily pleaded true to that allegation of committing the new offense of assault on a public servant, which was indicted and represented in the new cause number 24 CR 1984 in this court. Thus, your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked, as I find you have committed this violation, proving by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. Earlier in this case, you had pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood and appreciated the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea at that time through States Exhibit 1 admitted in the hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this offense in 1187, again, a third-degree felony of assault on a public servant. And finding you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, I follow this agreement. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. 24 CR 1984 is now called. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this? And we proceed in summary here.
Yes.
In summary, this indictment alleges that was handed up on September of last year, that on or about August 13th, 2024 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the third-degree felony of assault on a public servant by assaulting someone who was a correctional facility employee at the jail in Jefferson County, Texas. Do you understand what you're charged with here? If convicted, you face no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand? An agreement's been reached in this case as well. You would be pleading guilty, found guilty, sentenced to 5 years in prison to run concurrently with the preceding case that we revoked you on. Is that your understanding? If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
How do you plead to this, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily? That is on your own free will. And because you are indeed guilty of what this alleges. I show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1 in this case. Did you sign that document voluntarily, understand it, discuss it with your attorney, or the contents true and correct?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence
No objection.
without objection admitted. And this states as well that you were mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. And we all know from Dr. Capon's report that you've been analyzed and found competent, and there's no indication the defendant is incompetent,
No.
correct? And you are totally satisfied with the representation provided by your attorney. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. You understand what you're charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read it. You were guilty of that crime and any lesser included offenses. So help you God. State's Exhibit 1. That is part of the record for all purposes without objection. Pre-sentence report is one.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to follow this agreement and find, if nothing further, that you, ma'am, are pleading guilty here voluntarily, mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm doing that. I'm going to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, as agreed upon by all the parties and as you have elicited in your plea of guilty. And I'm following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. These 2 sentences shall run concurrently. Do you understand what has happened today?
Yes, sir.
Looks like what we have is an anger management problem that is something we all deal with. We all wrestle with. It's not like you're odd, you're normal, and we all get upset and lose our composure from time to time. It's normal. But you have to be able to think ahead on this and go, look, I'm going to get upset, but I've got to rationalize this early and have a plan. When I catch myself doing this, I've got to do something to talk to myself so that I am alert that, hey, this will have consequences and I could be punished severely. Is it worth it for a silly hissy fit that doesn't really get you anywhere? And you know, we all struggle sometimes with losing composure, but you have to grab a hold of yourself and think, how much do I have to lose and how much do I have to gain? Generally, it's not anything to gain and everything to lose. And that's the way it is for everyone. Kind of think about that. Plan ahead, because it'll happen again. And you just don't want to go to prison over something that's just losing your composure over. And I know it's frustrating. You go, this is just, I don't like this. This isn't fair. But we all have to deal with it. And sometimes you have to shrug it off and move on. But always think, how much do I have to lose versus how much I'm going to gain by this? And it's always like this. It always seems like that's the equation. There's far more to lose. Okay. Well, good luck.
In the end, Sodi Ivan Murphy walks out without additional jail time, a rare show of judicial mercy. The judge balanced punishment with compassion, recognizing both her trauma and her potential for change. But his final words carry weight. If you come back here, It means I made a mistake. That's not just a warning, it's a test of character. Will she rebuild her life or fall back into old habits? Only time will tell. If you found this case as shocking and thought-provoking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns just like this one. Every case has a lesson, and this one's all about redemption, accountability, and second chances.